Yeah. Okay, so for texting, there are a few things that you need to know. On the basic plan, if you go into your phone dialer, your caller ID is going to be the Radius default for SMS. This is just a standard thing where the FCC requires that the text message a phone number not be masked. So you're not able to use your own caller ID, unfortunately, for SMS. If you're on the AMS plan, then you can purchase an inbound number and set the number to be the SMS default number. So send all SMS using this number. So basic plan, you're just stuck with the Radius default, unfortunately.
No,
AMS,
I got the plan that's the AS, what is it? ASM?
AMS, great, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So I just so that way, like for the recording for other people, I'm just going to be mentioning some things of the differences because I want
Right.
everybody to be able to get the most use out of it. But nonetheless, we'll focus on that for sure. So this AMS plan, just make sure that one of the phone numbers that you've purchased or ported, you've set it as the default SMS for the account. Now, if you have multiple users, which I don't think you do, Crystal, but for multiple user accounts, each user can go into My Information and they can go into caller ID, and then they can set whichever caller ID they have access to via the ported numbers or the purchase numbers that you've given them on the account level. You can then go in and say, use the account default SMS or use a specific number that they have permission to utilize for that SMS. So you can create agent-specific phone numbers. Now, my advice to you would be in your account My Information, whatever number you're using as your caller ID, you're going to put in here into this phone field. The reason is you really want to make sure when you're sending out your emails and your text messages that you're giving them the phone number that the system is going to be using. So what do I mean by this? So this phone number, so see how this is in the account My information section. If I go into an email template and let's say I am building an AAP email, for example, we can put in the snippets of each agent. So instead of using like typing in Danielle Bond is my name, typing in my phone number of 702-919-6298, instead of all of that, we're going to use these agent snippets. So in case you ever want to change your phone number, in case you ever want to change your email address, you don't have to update every single template. All you have to do is populate it here. But the reason why you're going to want to make sure that whatever number you're calling out of Radius from is the number that's in that phone field is so that way when they're getting an email or they're getting a text message from you, when you call them, it will then search against their email, search against their cell phone number, and see if you are possibly the person that you say you are, right? So instead of it calling and then and saying potential spam, it would say possibly Danielle Bond because it's already been in another application in their phone. Because a lot of these smartphones now, if they don't have your phone number in their contacts, it's going to say possibly spam. That's not something that we can control. It's something that the carriers are controlling, or actually even the person who has the phone. They can set it so that way any number that's not in their contacts is flagged as possible spam. So not something we can control. So the best practice is for you to use that number consistently in your marketing messages. So that way, when you do call them, it'll search against their email and their messages and say possibly Danielle Bond instead of saying possibly spam. And there are other ways that you can, verify your phone number and all that good stuff, which I can get to in a little bit. But that's a critical element, is really just making sure you're consistent with the phone numbers that you're putting into your templates, whatever they are. Did you have a question?
No.
Okay, great. So in the templates, you can also now create text templates. At the bottom here, you can hit add text message. So this is really not for like the automated workflows so much. I'll show you those in a second. What this is for is that, let's say that you had like an AEP availability link that you wanted to just be able to message to people if they're like, oh yeah, can you send me your availability? So this would be something like, here's my calendar to choose from. And then either you would paste in the link that you're going to use, or you can again use your hashtag agent calendar link hashtag to populate the agent's calendar link from their account my information section. So that way it can just populate for any agent that's using this template. Or you could have a specific like www.calendar.com/choose, right? So you can type it in or you can use that little link. So I look forward to meeting with you. And then assigned agent name snippet. So all of this personalization is either coming from the records information, so the lead or the client or the agent's information, or the agent recruit. So the record that you're trying to market to, or the agent information, the person who has been assigned to that lead client or agent recruit. And then this product information is more specific. So if there's like a specific product information that we want to get out to them via text, I'll show you a template for that in a moment. And then underneath this preview, it's going to say, here's my calendar to choose from. I look forward to meeting with you. This is a very direct text message, so it doesn't have that stop to unsubscribe or whatever. So it's just a direct message that you're going to send only to that person. But I can also make it available for all of my agents to use, or I can just make it available for me to use. Submit. So now let's look at a product specific text template. So let's say rolling over AP. So in this case, we'll say, hi, first name. I wanted to follow up with you in regard to your election for 2024. Do you want to keep your, and then your carrier product? So I'm grabbing this information out from down here. And you'll notice that I'm copying and pasting because when, like between those little hashtags, it's the field name. So it's not, it's gonna just substitute whatever is in that proper field name into the text. So where it says hashtag carrier hashtag, you're not putting in hashtag BCBS hashtag, you're putting in hashtag carrier hashtag so that it pulls from the appropriate field name. Or would you like to discuss options? If so, here's my calendar to choose from, or text me back with the best time for you. Okay, so then I'm going to grab my calendar link and my agent name. Thanks. Okay, make that available for everybody. So now let's see how to use it. So if I go into a client file, now they have to have their cell phone number in the cell phone field for the text messaging to work. I'll show you what error message you would get if you didn't have that. But this guy has one in there, so I'm gonna say send text, which is right up here. And now you'll see where it says select a template, and I'm gonna use that rolling over AEP. But so that way it populates the right product. Oop, I don't have a product for him. Let me add one in. Uh, 2024. Let's say it's 2023 right now. Okay, so now he has a product. So now if I hit send text message, I'm going to select a template. So rolling over AEP, I'm going to select that product. And now you'll notice here, it populated that for you. So it populated his first name. Hi, Jorge. Do you want to keep your Aetna plan G, or would you like to discuss options? And then I would send that message. So the reason why it's having you select the product is because they might have multiple products. So you need to determine the one that you actually want to send them, because you might have a history of sending an email, or, you might have a history of having a product for them that was an individual health policy, but now they've aged into Medicare. Well, you're not going to just delete that other product. You're going to just put it to canceled or termed or whatever, and then add in the new product as the one that's in force. That's the reason why you have to select the product. If I go to the next person in this list, do you see where it says Danielle sample person? This now doesn't have a cell phone. So if I hit send text, it will tell me the cell phone number is invalid. You've got to correct the cell phone and try again. So that's going to do that. So if I then add their, maybe I just copy their phone number into this. That's not really a real phone number. So let me just fix that. And I save that update. Now I'll be able to send the text message. And if I do that rolling over again, now it'll make more sense when I'm selecting the product. It's like, oh, are you selecting plan G or plan A? So I'm going to select plan G. And that's how you would utilize that, the carrier product snippet within the text template. That's, I think that once you actually start building the templates, it becomes a little easier to conceptualize that, but it is a little tricky. Are there any questions on that so far, on
Nope.
using the templates?
No.
Okay. All right. So just you're selecting the template and then you're selecting the product if it's applicable. Okay, so the other thing that you can do is build mass texting. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can't really mass text. You're not allowed to. But we have automated workflows, which then get over the hurdle of the allowance of mass texting, because automated workflows are actually ways for you to send to specific people, and it's a one-to-one relationship. So you're not just blasting out a text message in this case. You're putting it to a specific person and associating it only with their file, but you're doing it in bulk. So let me show you what I mean. So in settings, I go to automated workflows. Now, a very good AEP automation would be something like this. So it's for AEP clients, because you have to have an opt-in to text leads or prospects. But for clients, the opt-in has probably already happened. If you have it, written down, that's even better. But because they're a client, until they tell you no, typically you're allowed to text them. Technically, you need an opt-in, but being a client counts somewhat as an opt-in. Okay, so you can add in leads and the other record types, but for this purpose, I want to, focus on what is the most FCC compliant advice, which is you can send text messages to clients. So here, what I'm going to do to prevent the, or to trigger the workflow to all of my clients would be that I would tag them with AEP review needed, and that would be my trigger set. So this workflow up here, what I'm building is the trigger. So who should this be going out to? And then we're going to set the actions and the timing for what happens. So the trigger is AEP clients when they are tagged with AEP review needed. I can save that workflow. You'll notice that there's a ton of other criteria that you can utilize, like the carrier or the product status. You can also do on date, day of, after or before, last updated, birthday, 26th birthday, 65th birthday, effective and renewal date. So if you wanted to send your clients an email or a text message on their birthday, you could send an email out on their birthday, or a text message on their birthday, for example. So we would save that workflow trigger set, and now we're going to add those actions. So down here, Right now we have send email minute 1 for AEP. Then we're also going to enable the self-service portal, which is really helpful for them to, enter in their providers and their prescriptions. And then we might also send them a text message at the same time. So let me show you that. So I'm choosing send text message, and then I'm setting the timing because I want it to be a little bit after that initial email that I'd sent out. And then you're going to send to the record. So in this case, it would be the client rather than the assigned agent or a specific agent. So hi, first name, I'm about to send you the your secure portal email and your password email for that portal to update your providers and prescriptions. If there are no changes, just write back and let me know. After you've reviewed the portal. Right, so you're sending them a very specific message that they need. So here we go, and then I'm going to put my info in, and then because it is an automated message, it's going to say sent by your company's name, reply stop to unsubscribe. So that way it's compliant with the way that things are sent out. I'm going to scroll down and save that action. I can keep on adding different messages. So here we also have like add them into the call queue after 3 weeks from the date of the trigger. I can then send them another follow-up via text or another email, all of that good stuff. And then at the end of AEP, I will remove them from the AEP workflow. So that way I can use that tag again next year. So then when I want to trigger this, which is coming up, here what I can do is scroll to the bottom of the page, change my leads per page to maybe 250. You don't want it to be too high of a number because then it'll take a lot of processing time. So just FYI on that. Select all, bulk update, and then add a tag of AEP review needed, submit that, and then everybody starts on that campaign. So then if I go into that person's file, it will show me any pending workflow actions on that campaign. And it will show me that I triggered that. So it'll say, workflow, client onboarding, or workflow, this was done, that was triggered, this email was sent, this text message was sent, etc. So that will be there for you. And then to view the text messages, you can see replies directly in their notes, but also you can see the most recent text messages here. So if you go to messages, SMS, here you can see the inbound messages and you can see the outbound messages over here on the right. This is only for the past 2 weeks of history. So that way it's like, what's current and relevant. So just know that you're not going to see a full SMS history, but this is where you would check your recent inbound and outbounds. Another really nice thing that we're going to be adding in soon is on the dashboard. You already have the ability to put the account activity up here. I'll show you where that is in a second, but shortly we're going to have a filter so that way you can filter by inbound SMS or sent email or whatever. So that way you can kind of filter it by the criteria that you're the most interested in. But right now you'll see client was updated, an SMS message was sent, etc. So this activity is here for you. Also, Crystal, I think that you do Medicare, just another thing on this dashboard when I show you the settings. You can also set the unsigned scope of appointments to display on your dashboard. And if you notice that somebody hasn't signed and their date is coming up, so let's pretend that it's this date is coming up and it's within like 48 hours, you can text them directly from here. Oops, her cell phone is invalid. Her cell phone is invalid. Come on, somebody. Nope, it's the same person, Samantha person. Ugh. So if you have a cell phone in there, you can text them. Come on. All right, let me just go to somebody's file so I can show you. Okay. So now if I go into the dashboard and I go to her file, I can just text her directly from there. And so you need to keep, it says, please complete your scope of appointment here. This link has to be the link that you're sending them because it's associated with their file. So don't edit that. You can change anything else except for that link, which is how it relates back to their file when they sign it. You could also have done this directly from her file. So if you go into notes, her file, and then you go to the files tab, you'll see the scopes of appointment that are requested, any ACA consent forms that are requested, and you can either email it, text it, just like we were doing, or open it for a signature if they walk in. And then once it's completed, it would show the completion here. So let me just sign this. Submit that. And now if I go back to her files page, I will see the signature with all of that information and can download it right there. The other way that you can generate text messages is if you go to settings, appointment reminders, and then add in appointment reminders. So that way you can, for like an ACA appointment, let's say that's the category, you could send maybe 15 minutes before the reminder time, you could send them a text message to say, hi, first name, I'm looking forward to our appointment in 15 minutes at whatever the location is. Any questions or trouble getting there, give me a call on this number. Thanks, agent name, and then send it to the record. So that's how you can automate the appointment reminders to generate via text. You can also do it via email, even though that's not the feature we're focused on right now. But this is where you could grab that and then include a calendar attachment, send it to the record, and create. You would usually send that email upon the creation of the appointment. And then you can always create a reminder email as well. The appointment date snippets are here for you. So that way you can like show the date, the time, and the location. Any questions on this?
No, no.
Okay. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
So it's a lot. So let me just recap the things that we've covered. So obviously you need to have in the leader of the client's file, their cell phone has to be in the cell phone field for the text messaging to be sent out to them. You can send a text directly from their file by hitting send text. You can choose a preset template. And if there is a product specific to it, you can also select that product and then send that message. You can create text templates in templates, or if you have a very old account, it might be called drips. You can scroll down, add that text template. If you want to create an automated workflow, you would go to settings, automated workflows, add a workflow, set the trigger. So let's in this case do birthday for clients. And let's just be basic and send it on their birthday. Save. Add an action. Send them a text. Now, all date triggers are evaluated at 6 a.m.-ish Pacific time. So if you're on Pacific time, you might want to do 3 hours. So that way it's like, at least 9 a.m. before you start trying to text them. I should also show you in a second, there's a way for you to set when you want text messages to go out, because your state might have a regulation about when texts can be sent. So 3 hours, I'm going to send to say, happy birthday, first name, and then whatever else you want. So that's how you would send a text message via the automated workflows. The last option is appointment reminders. Settings, appointment reminders. when you set an appointment, you can have a text reminder sent out based off of their appointment, and then send the text message using the templates here. Send it to the record. You can also send it to the assigned agent or a specific agent or whatever you want. So you would do that there. Now let's look at that text time frame. Go to settings, account logo time zones, edit. Let me scroll down. And then here's where it says text messages are allowed between. And this is based off of your time zone. So if you are on Eastern, they'll go out between 8 a.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Eastern. That is kind of the default, is 8 to 7 per your time zone is the default. But if you want to adjust that at all, this is where you would do that. And then anything that falls outside of that time frame would then it would then be sent out the next day. Or if like the text message is like trying to go out at 6 a.m. in the morning, it'll hold it until 8 a.m. in this case. And then you can scroll down and submit your settings by updating, and that's that. The other things to know, just going back into the settings side of things, in the phone dialer, if you're on the basic plan, your Radius default number is going to be what's used. If you're on the AMS plan, you can set an SMS default number for the account. And finally, if you have a multi-user account, you can also have your agents go into their caller ID in account My Information caller ID and set their SMS default number there. Again, it has to be associated with a number within Radius. So if you haven't given them permission to use one of the purchased or ported numbers, they will just have the account default as their option, and that will be the only option. All right. That was a lot more information than I thought this one would be. Any questions?
No, thank you so much for your help, though.
Good.
I
Yeah. I'm very happy to help. Yeah. And if there's anything where you're like, ooh, that's a cool idea or whatever, like just let me know and I can give you the more specific instructions.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the help app has a bunch of information and we have like the SMS best practices, but if there's anything specifically that you need, like if you're like, can you help me with an AEP, automation? That's something that if you come to one of the client work sessions, I can handhold you through it. So that way you don't have to really remember too much and I'll just help you with that. And
Okay.
those are every Monday and Thursday. And I think that I put out a survey the other day. I think we're going to be doing that on Wednesdays around 2 or 2:30 Pacific time going forward as well. So hopefully by next week, I'll have that additional time. And then also check out the featured features in the help app. So that way, if there's another option that you want to learn about, like call queues and best practices is up next week. Appointment outcome reporting is coming up. So this is where you would get your feature specific information. So that way you don't have to try to learn the whole system at once. Because as we just saw, like even just such a basic thing like texting took over half an hour to explain. So yeah, keep me posted as you have questions, use the help app and keep me posted how I can help.